No legs. Right to tamper with the universe.
Yourself into oblivion.
Hello, and welcome, dear listeners, to the third season of The Darkest Timeline.
Film Podcast.
Hello, and welcome to The Darkest Timeline. I'm David.
I'm Ian. I'm Dylan.
And joining us today is...
Matt.
Yay!
Hey!
Today we watched another f***ing vampire movie.
Yes, we did.
And this is coming out on Halloween weekend.
Yeah. But this time it was a musical.
Kind of.
I
think-
no.
I think,
Almost a musical.
I think the Wikipedia classified it as a musical, but you know, it's Wikipedia.
Anyone can edit that. I don't trust them.
So, since Matt is new, he's going to give us a brief synopsis of the plot.
I am brand new. Okay, so my synopsis of this plot. We are dealing with a story about a struggling band. Very struggling. Even the manager thinks that he shouldn't be part of the band anymore.
He quits in the second scene.
He quits immediately. He's telling them you should fire him.
He doesn't quit.
He doesn't quit.
He says, as your manager, I think you should fire your manager.
Exactly, yeah. And that's played by Dave Foley, which I was surprised to see him show up in this movie at all. All right, but basically the point of this, I'll give you a brief synopsis. This movie is about a band that's struggling. Even the manager, again, he doesn't feel like he should be a part of it. And almost immediately, we have one of our band members, the woman...
Jennifer. Jennifer, is it?
Jennifer is her name. She's the bassist for the band. She decides he's not going to hang out with the band after this one gig that they have in the beginning of the movie to go to a party. Very loosely, I would say that's a party. It seems like a group of albinos just hanging out, not doing anything.
Sounds like a party to me.
Yeah. So Jennifer goes to this thing. She becomes a vampire, and then we quickly realize that the band is taking off because she has some sort of mystique about her. The following show, and the band starts picking up some steam, and then it kind of unravels into this. Now this band all decides that they're going to become vampires because that's kind of their shtick. I guess. Is that a fair assessment?
Except Hugo.
Hey, yeah, except Hugo. Hugo, he's not having any of it. And
he wants it bad.
he wants it the worst, and he's the only one who doesn't really get in on it, I guess. Mm-hmm. Where does the movie even go from there?
Oh, I don't know. They get really, really famous, and then they decide. Yeah, they get really famous, and then the guy who started the band, I can't remember his name. He Joey Winter. His name's totally not Winter. They become
It might be.
That was why they named the band the Winners. No, it was ironic. They said that on the radio. Well, I think it was still his name though.
I do think it was still his name.
Yo. But he decides after they've become like really big and have a private jet that Eddie Van Helsing said that he could heal us and make us human again by killing the master. And then they kill the guy who made them a vampire, and then they all become human again. Love that name, by the way. Eddie Van Helsing. Eddie Van
Helsing.
So good. For you people who don't understand.
Played by Malcolm McDowell, surprisingly.
Yeah. But for you people that don't understand, it's a rock and roll reference of Eddie Van Helsing. Oh, no, sorry. Eddie Van Halen.
Fun fact about this movie, the only person with a last name is Eddie Van Helsing. So
Really?
Joey is just Joey.
I think they said at some point they called him Joey Winter. They didn't. No, like in the movie. That's never.
I got to side with Dylan on this. I feel like it happened.
Joey. At some point. No, it doesn't matter what IMDb says. The movie told me that it was Joey Winter.
I agree.
Movie lied.
All right.
You're lying to the movie. So that's the plot.
They get really popular, and then they decide to
Yeah,
kill.
we already did that.
Yeah,
They don't get that popular. I mean, it's not like they're like
don't-
worldwide
they're-
famous.
oh,
like
no,
they're
they-
like indie popular.
They
like,
were on like newspapers, man.
and they had a private jet.
They were on newspapers, and in a way that was clearly like, yeah, these people are vampires and they're a super popular band. We're okay with it.
If this podcast
exactly. Yeah, they're like they're on the equivalent of like a Trader Joe's like free. Hey, these are our deals.
Fearless Flyer,
It was
Fearless Flyer.
It was like the LA
That's
Times.
what it happened.
It was like the LA Times.
That's
and
the
shit.
height of their celebrity.
If this podcast
Or the
was
Toronto
Beaver or whatever, if this podcast was flying to New York on a private jet, I'd say we were popular. Okay.
Yeah.
I'd say like they're a relatively popular band.
They'd have somewhat of a following.
They have a song in the Billboard 100 or the 200 or whatever.
They're
Okay, no, they're vampires. Everyone's listening to them because they don't have a choice, because they love them because they don't have a choice.
it's a very niche group. Very culty, nichey vampire group.
They were pretty
niche.
decent. They were pretty
that a
decent
thing?
band though. Fun fact, they were a decent band. Fun fact,
They actually weren't bad. Their songs did get better.
I have a fun fact.
All right, hit us with that fact, Ian.
The entire movie was filmed in Toronto.
that was the worst fact ever. You built that up
I'm
so
not
much.
f***ing done.
No, you, Ian.
That was fun.
Toronto's great. Who doesn't love Toronto? Fly us up there. We'll do a podcast for you. Only first class. Every single club in the movie was a different club in Toronto, except for this one club that has 3 floors and played as 3 different clubs in the movie. And they just got a bunch of people from a bunch of like fans of the Toronto goth scene to be extras in the movie in the club.
All right. That's economical. I like it.
That's neat. I like it.
I mean, you could
Just
tell
put a
that.
flyer in the goth clubs. I don't know.
Yeah. I mean, it was low budget.
Oh, it was way low budget. Very. It was low budget, but they had Iggy Pop and Alice Cooper and Moby, like all singing songs.
All right, yeah, all right. So I pulled it up. All right, so I pulled it up on IMDb during the middle of the movie, and I saw that those guys, Moby, Iggy Pop, what's his face, Alice Cooper, and then Henry Rollins, like those guys wrote music for this movie.
Yeah. Yeah, because that song Moby sang, he don't sing that usually.
No, he don't.
So the name of his band, the name of Moby's band in this was the Secretaries of Steak. And their whole gimmick was that while they were on stage, people would throw like raw meat at them. And Moby was singing like in a like kind of voice, which was amazing.
Yeah,
in
that's
my opinion.
great.
And he was squeezing meat blood on his head, and it was the weirdest thing, and I loved it.
He was
squeezing meat blood.
Yes,
basting himself.
yeah, he was basing himself on meat blood. It was amazing. I loved it. Squeezing raw steaks on his head.
This is one of those movies that you like more when you do research on it.
I gotta say, I liked the first 2/3 of this movie just fine. It was just that last third that just grated on me a little bit.
Yeah, the last hour was pretty.
Maybe even the last quarter even.
Right.
I think even less than the last quarter. Maybe the last 1/7.
It feels tacked on because I noticed that the themes of this movie, it really it holds to a traditional rise and fall of a musician or a band genre of movie.
Yeah.
And I love those movies. You start like when they're nothing, and then they kind of rise up together, and then there's a conflict of interest. It's super predictable. It happens all the time, but it makes for an interesting movie every single time. And then they put the vampire drama on top of that and used it as a metaphor for selling out, I thought.
I thought it was a metaphor for drugs.
It could have been, well...
Actually, I read somewhere that it was a metaphor for drugs. I'll rephrase.
You know what?
Okay.
I'm allowed to interpret this piece.
I'll take it both ways. It was a metaphor for drugs and selling out, or selling out on drugs, or selling out to drugs.
Well,
Selling out while on drugs? The winner is brought to you
Well,
by...
it's obviously about selling out. We all get that much. They realize that being vampiric makes them popular, and so they decide to give into that.
right.
It's the winner is brought to you by acetaminophen.
So the reason the last quarter doesn't work is because it then switches to a horror action film where they're trying to undo their vampirism by taking on the root vampire, or
Queenie.
Queenie, the root vampire, and it resolves their vampirism without really resolving them as a band.
Yeah,
and
they
then
stopped being a band.
and then they throw on this extra scene at the end where they try to resolve that with Alice Cooper trying to bring them back to the vampiric nightlife world. And it's 5 minutes, maybe 10 at the end of this film that totally ruins it.
Well, I feel like what ruined it was that thing at the end where it just kind of devolved into that old classic vampire thing where it's like, oh, if you kill the progenitor, then you'll all be human again, or you'll be saved, or whatever. That's because even the movie we watched last week, Vamps, did the same thing, and it was just kind of like this movie that I liked most of just kind of devolved to this thing that was like, oh, this is a trope. There it is, right at the very end. Kind of disappointing.
I personally, I'm not very familiar with like the vampire mythology or how, whatever you call it.
Well, you see, the thing is, vampires are fictional, so you can say whatever the you want about them.
All right. So, I wasn't aware that you could reform from that.
Usually you can't. It really depends on the writer.
Apparently.
Yeah.
And so in these last two movies we watched, yeah, you can. Good for you.
I don't like that.
I agree with you.
I think that if you're going to decide to be a vampire, then you need to be a vampire until the end of your days, until whatever that means. Whether
For the rest of your unlife.
F you for saying that. Yeah. No, exactly. No, that's the way it should be. I feel like if you commit, but this one seems like, well, you just have an out. Like,
Yeah, right?
kill that guy, and then, which apparently wasn't very hard.
No.
And then you're just back to normal. Like, hey, would you like to live forever? And you're like, yeah. And then you're like, oh, this sucks. And then they're like, well,
This sucks. Everybody loves being famous.
well, if you got 10 minutes, we can just kill the whatever her name is.
I think it was him. It was weird because it was clearly a dude
Named Queenie.
named Queenie, and they called him the Queen of the Vampires.
God, I hated that guy.
I didn't realize that was Moby playing Beef.
Oh yeah,
really?
that was Moby.
I didn't realize that either.
I couldn't get past the giant USA.
Me neither. Yeah, I couldn't
tattoo
either.
on his neck.
It was only at the end that I was like, oh shit, that was Moby, when they actually showed the picture and his name across it. And I was like, oh, you're right.
Okay, can we stop for a second? Have we really gotten to the point in humanity where
In humanity.
where a vampire can have her mouth covered with blood and holding an arm, and turning to a regular person and say, "Don't judge me,"
No.
and then the guy has to go, "Oh yeah, you're right. I shouldn't judge."
No one said that didn't happen in the movie.
That did happen.
That almost happened. She said it's not what it looks like.
Oh,
with JVR,
yeah, that's right. That's
Which
not what it looks like.
is the same
She had a
thing.
"Don't judge me" line later.
No. It wasn't. I'm sorry. It wasn't her. It was when Joey becomes a vampire and he's talking to Iggy Pop, and that's when it happens.
Oh yeah, don't judge me.
Yes, I'm going to judge you.
You're a f***ing vampire. What do you expect? Okay, so we've gone on long enough just talking about kind of what this movie has been. But what was your favorite part of it?
My favorite part, honestly, was right after Jennifer became a vampire, when a guy who never becomes a vampire, Hugo, comes into the room and basically catches her being a vampire. That's my favorite scene, I think.
Oh yeah, that's good.
Explain the scene.
Explain the scene. He passes out.
Show it to our ears.
Show it to my ears. Basically, Joey, she's been away for a while. Joey stumbles into the room, basically, right? Hugo comes right on in. She's chewing on an arm or something.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's it. Am I right?
Oh, is it the gas
And then
station?
he passes out immediately.
No, it was at the gas station when she stuck the straw in the dude.
Yeah, that's right. She drained him.
She just drank him like a Capri Sun.
Like a Capri Sun.
We had that last week, too.
I heard that. That's one of the 5 minutes that I know of your guys' show. That someone gets drinking like a Capri Sun in Vamps.
I'm missing Capri Suns. now.
God, it does sound good.
They're so good when they're cold.
Oh yeah.
So wildly mediocre when they're warm.
But so hard to put the straw in when you're drunk.
They've completely rechanged the whole how the bag functions.
As they should.
Yeah.
Wait, how that?
Yeah.
Why are we
they
still
have.
drinking out of pouches?
Why
to
are we not
change the
drinking out of
subject.
pouches more often? We should be like the astronauts. Do they do that?
In the 1980s and early 90s, that was like the future. Pouch milk. That was at my school. No one else had pouch. They're all looking at me like,
No. I get it. It was, we all watched Alex Mack.
Well,
We know what's going on.
you don't have to say all of us.
I watched Alex Mack.
You will be the only person at the table to cop to that. But yes, go on.
Her special power was being able to form into a Capri Sun and go under doorways.
Oh,
You'll
yeah.
remember.
Oh, my God. I f***ing did watch that.
Yeah, you did.
Yeah, I did.
We all did. All right, what were we talking about? I forgot.
we were talking about using people like Capri Suns.
Oh, it was my favorite part. All right, yeah. So Jennifer becomes Alex Mack and drinks a kid like a Capri Sun,
That's not what happens, but okay.
and that was the best part of the movie.
You've lost our entire audience, by the way.
Sorry,
All right.
sorry, Ben.
Sorry, Ben. No. All right. So, chick girl has been turned into a vampire after going to an albino party.
You're starting way too far back.
Yeah. So, my favorite part of the movie is everyone's like, "You look weird," and she's like, "Whatever, I'm fine," and she's clearly not. And then, yeah, she They stop for snacks. She kills the guy, slurps him up. And then that's my favorite part of the movie. Hugo has to sit there and keep his mouth. I mean, the funniest part is when Hugo gets back in the car covered in blood.
Right.
Nosebleed.
Back in the hearse,
Yeah.
covered in blood, and is just like, let's go. Like it's like nothing happened.
No. I think they said, well, that must have been because Jennifer comes in first, and she's like, oh yeah, he'll be here in a minute. He had a nosebleed, and then Hugo comes in with his shirt drenched in blood, and his hands are covered in blood, and they're like, well, that must have been a hell of a nosebleed. And he was like, nothing's wrong.
No, he didn't say nothing's wrong. That was a different part. I don't know where. I can't remember exactly where he said that.
I can prove you wrong with that.
No, I'm pretty sure that is where he says it.
When someone
No,
said,
no. Wait. No, I know. He didn't say nothing's wrong. He said everything's normal.
Everything's normal. That's what he said. Oh God.
That was funny. I mean, all that Hugo hijinks before everyone else figured it out. And even after that, when Hugo is clearly just strung out on being a to the vampires, is pretty funny. I mean, he goes crazy and he starts eating flies and shit. It is not okay.
Yeah, I don't know where that came from.
That comes from Dracula. That's like a reference to Renfield. This is the character who's a human, and he becomes sort of Dracula's daytime go-to. So, and one of the things that Renfield does is he eat bugs. So that's why Hugo is eating the fly.
Oh,
"Wow,
when I gotta say, I was watching Penny Dreadful last year, and Renfield does that in that.
He
in
eats
that show.
flies?
I think he does eat flies a few times in that show. I'd be surprised if he didn't, because that show is wildly consistent.
I don't think he
with
ate
character.
any
I
flies."
think he did, and if he didn't,
Just insects in general.
Oh, well.
You'll see it in just about every
did you watch Penny
Dracula,
Dreadful?
Renfield
I
situation.
did not watch Penny Dreadful.
It's f***ing good, you
really good.
bastard! Watch it."
It's better than
It's better than this movie.
I don't know if you watched.
it's better than that last thing Josh Hartnett did,
Josh
where he's basically drowning.
Okay, Josh Hartnett, while not being an amazing actor, is perfect for the role he's given in the show,
Okay.
and he's not the main character.
Renfield be f***ed up, bro. Let's move on.
That's fair. Well, my favorite part of the movie, and it's not even really my favorite part, but it was something I liked, and it's going to be what I'm going to call my favorite part, is the weird claymation transitional scenes.
Oh,
You bastard!
I think that's still everyone else's favorite part.
wasn't my favorite. Forgot about it.
Okay, I had to back up. This is fine.
Okay, so in between, I don't know, probably like 8 or 9 times in this movie, they had this weird thing where at the very beginning it was kind of strange and off-putting, where they had... You gotta not laugh at that shit so I can move on. You gotta not laugh at that shit. Okay.
Dave, check it out.
Wow, you were like pretty jacked.
Dave, I've been repping 6 pound weights.
6 pound weights.
Yeah, keep going. I'm gonna grab some more booze.
That is not a good idea. Dave, stop him.
Well, he's Ubering. So why are you looking
You are Ubering, but it's going to be harder to do the podcast if you get more drunk.
Keep
Man.
going, bro.
You can have a beer when you leave. Is that okay?
Yeah, that's fine.
Okay. you gotta keep you centered. Gotta keep you centered. Okay.
All right, let's keep going.
So, like 9 times in this movie, they do this weird thing. At the beginning, it's off-putting, where they have this strange off-putting claymation version of a transitional scene where the first one is a bat flying towards Vancouver.
Is it off-putting?
Yes.
Well, the very first time is the very beginning of the movie.
Yeah, it's the very beginning of the movie where, like, the first shot after a radio DJ is talking about some
Blah, blah, blah.
concert thing that's coming up.
And venereal diseases.
And venereal diseases, because he's all about all the things. And a bat comes flying towards Vancouver, and it's like a fake-looking bat flying over fake-looking water towards a fake-looking city, and it's like, oh, is this just bad CGI or what? But then it happens like 8 more times in the movie, and it's usually their hearse, because the band drives a hearse, driving through mountains or whatever, and it just becomes this cool little transitional element that they added to the movie, and every time there's the eyes of the vampire that turned Jennifer, like in the background of the scene. Every time, and I think it's a really cool transitional device. That like, he's always like kind of overshadowing their life, and it's this weird claymation thing that grows on you. And I thought that was really cool.
It did grow on me.
Yeah, I mean, he's half claymation right now.
That's because you're drunk.
No, it's because I really like Play-Doh.
Okay, so you did yours, and I did mine.
Okay, I can do mine now.
Okay. So Ian, what was your favorite part of the movie?
Motherfucking Hugo.
Hugo!
Which part of Hugo?
Every part of Hugo. There's no part of Hugo that wasn't good.
All right, so Hugo's your favorite character
Yeah. Well, he was French.
and plot device.
Yes, he was French Canadian, and he spoke broken English.
He's broken English.
Yes, he did, Matt. He did that thing.
I made it very English.
He reminded me not of like a French Canadian who can't speak English, mostly because I don't know any French Canadians who can't quite speak English, so I really have no baseline for that. But he really reminded me of a Russian who speaks broken English. So Hugo is a great character because he's told that at the end of their tour, Jennifer will turn him into a vampire, and he's just like, okay. And then she turns everyone else into a vampire, and he's just like, why not Hugo? I will always speak of Hugo in a Russian accent because I can't do French Canadian broken English. And like even in the last scene where I remember him, his lines were the best. When they were trying to kill Queenie and all the lights had gone out, and Malcolm McDowell has this crossbow and he's trying to shoot Queenie without, like, Queenie's talking, and he'll just like fire a bolt and Hugo will be like, why you shoot Hugo? And then like no one acknowledges it.
He does it again.
And then he shoots again and he's like, why Hugo? Why Hugo? And then he shoots someone else who's just like, if you can't see, don't f***ing shoot the crossbow. But Hugo, I'm unsure. Did Hugo die?
No.
No, it was the
I don't
drummer.
think he did. Yeah.
Well, yeah, the drummer died. But, you know, drummers die.
Yeah, he only said drummer.
My favorite part of this movie,
Please do.
other than the things that were mentioned, which I all enjoyed,
You all enjoyed them.
it would be Queenie.
Really?
Especially-
You mean the Mad Hatter himself?
Yeah, Queenie.
Really, that guy?
Yeah, Queenie in the beginning,
who looked like Johnny Depp's Mad Hatter
who looked like an albino carrot top.
without a hat.
Okay. Yep. So you mean
He looked like-
Johnny Depp's Mad Hatter?
Johnny Depp's Mad Hatter.
Dead ringer.
Dead ringer.
When did that
Really
movie come out?
accentuating his jawline.
Yeah, and the reason I liked him was because he was the character that let me know I should not take this movie seriously at all.
Oh yeah.
Wait, you came into this movie thinking you could have to take it seriously?
Well, No, because it could be just an indie vampire movie, or it could
It was.
he was so over the top weird
Oh yeah.
that I understood more about this movie because he was just so dumb. Like, the second you become a vampire, you become a Renaissance fair extra.
Well, the weird thing about him is
No, I agree with him. He totally nails it. Like, dude, as soon as you meet that guy,
Yeah.
it's
stupid.
over.
Yeah.
Like, what, you become this guy that is 20 times paler than everyone else with the most defined cheekbones you've ever seen. And
Gotta be in love with those cheekbones.
it's not that. It's like how deeply they're defined.
The definition is 4K.
Yeah. Another thing about him.
4K.
Another thing about him was that he, after a little ways into the movie, Malcolm McDowell, who plays Eddie Van Helsing, is like, he has a flashback to like the 70s or the 60s. What do you think? 70s or 60s?
70s, early 70s.
I go with 70s.
Yeah, and they had like a dead ringer for young Malcolm McDowell in there, who was just the best choice. I don't know who the hell that was, but that was Malcolm McDowell at a young age.
Oh, hold on a second there, boys. I'm being told that... Yes? Okay, yes, it is in fact Malcolm McDowell in footage from his 1973 film, Oh Lucky Man.
And he and it shows Queenie turning his girlfriend, and Queenie looks the same in like the 70s or the 60s. I don't know.
Same clothes.
McQueen?
No. But he's like, whenever this was, he was pioneering rock star attire, because that is not how people dressed back then. And he just looked the same. Okay. Well, we've been through the parts we liked of this movie, Dave.
Yeah. Oh, I'm going to start with the thing that I hate. 'Cause
Okay,
there is
but-
something I uniquely hate
Yeah.
about this.
So, Dave, what was it?
The 90s are dead. They've been dead for at least 16 years.
At the very least.
So much of this felt like a...
Well, hey, now, 14 years, every decade lasts 2 years after its death.
What the was that mean?
You interrupted me for that?
Yes.
F*** you.
It's the truth.
F*** you.
Continue.
Oh,
You're good, Matt. You're good.
Yeah, keep going, bro.
okay. It felt like 90s grunge, like pop grunge.
Mm-hmm.
And I just didn't like it. Just so much of this was that.
Did it? I didn't get that vibe.
This would have been a stronger point if I wasn't interrupted.
No, that's fair. But I didn't get that vibe from this movie. I felt like it was very like 90s rock, sure. But I didn't get that I didn't get a grunge vibe really from it.
Okay.
I did personally.
Okay.
It was grungy.
Fine. I guess I'm the only one who didn't get the grunge
Yeah,
vibe.
you're
Were you
wrong.
into grunge, man?
Not really.
I was.
That doesn't surprise me. I don't know
I
why.
was in a band, baby.
You sound like it. Stop calling me baby.
So, what else was terrible about this movie?
What did you hate, Matt?
What did I hate about this movie? Well, I mostly hated that these characters, the other characters in the movie, before they wound up turning, I did not like the fact that they couldn't recognize that Jennifer, is that her name?
Yeah.
Jennifer was a vampire. They're like, you look different. It's like, well, yeah. She's albino now. And she has a lot more energy. And basically everything that made her a vampire
Oh yeah. Well,
was crazy that they kind of just threw it aside. Like, yeah, she's a vampire.
If one of you were to walk into this room tomorrow and you were all pale and bright green eyes,
I never go outside, and I have green eyes.
Yeah, I would have run the out.
no, I would at least know whether or not I ran or not. Be like, you're a vampire now, aren't you?
Have you eaten recently, and are you okay to do a podcast?
Not only are they okay, like just dealing moderately okay after, sort of being depressed because their band isn't doing so well. But it's the crazy leap that she made
It's true.
to being totally fine.
Well,
I mean, when they found her with the gnawing on that arm, and they were like, "This is up, and they were like arguing about it, and then like it goes away to something else, and it comes back to them, and they're all like sitting around this like bed, and they're like, okay, now like this is really messed up, but you got to hear me out, and like everyone's really understanding. Like everyone was so chill.
Yep.
You know what?
It's a wonder this didn't take place in L.A. or something.
It's a millennial thing. Really chill, understanding about everybody.
Shut up. But the I really thought that like everyone was just the way everyone was so cool about it. Like, oh, it's a vampire. Hey, you know, make me a vampire. It'd be pretty cool if I made me a vampire. And the next scene, they were a vampire, and everyone was so laissez-faire about being a vampire. I thought that was kind of funny.
Using big phrases now.
I get it. Laissez-faire. Hot.
It's good, man. It's good, man.
Is that a French Canadian city?
Laissez-faire hot.
All right, man.
Oh, Lord.
My least favorite part of this movie was when they were doing the musical numbers, of which there were many.
It's about a rock band.
Whenever Queenie was doing a musical number, his lip syncing was awful. Especially on B's, when you actually had to bring your lips together to make the proper sound, his lips were not. They were like a good quarter inch away from each other. I'm like, you're not making that sound, bro. That's not what's happening. It's awful. And I feel like everyone's just looking away from me right now. No one's looking at me. This is super awkward, man. No one's, what the f***?
You're good, man. Okay, you were describing your least favorite part.
The bad lip syncing. I already talked about it.
Oh, no one was paying attention.
Is there a part now where
I was done, and then I stopped. Then I started talking about how none of you were paying attention to me. I was done. Yeah.
So let's go to the cards.
What?
Is there a
What about
part
you?
now where I
what?
punch your guy's younger sister in the throat?
I have an older sister.
Yeah, that works.
You're gonna have to drive to.
Mealed.
That doesn't make any sense.
Doesn't.
It'll take you like an hour and a half, and you don't know where she lives.
I got 2-to-1 odds that you're not going to make it out of the parking lot.
Yeah, I have to hire an Uber to bring me there without killing me on the way.
Okay, so my least favorite part of this movie is disappointing because it's just the ending that we already talked about, and that's it. And so I feel like I have to just mention a couple other things that I thought were interesting about this movie.
Oh, bullshit.
Not well, interesting.
Hey, let's go for it.
So Jennifer, the vampire, the first vampire in the movie, or the first vampire member of the band in the movie, she looked like, and picture her in your head as a vampire, she looked like a mix between Mila Jovovich and Gillian Jacobs from Community.
I see that.
Gillian?
Gillian? Is it Gillian?
It is
Why
Gillian.
is it Gillian?
I know, right?
It's a
Her name's
stupid. Okay, Gillian Jacobs from Community.
Yeah, Brita baby.
Exactly, but she looks like that, like a mix between
No, she does. I was thinking that. As
that
well.
and Mila
Keep going.
Jovovich is like just you put those two things together and you've got Jessica. I thought that was pretty interesting. And beyond that, I think we've pretty much covered the basics of this movie, and I think we got off track a little bit. But
Well, I got one thing that's a little negative.
do it.
Just a little like, I was like, oh, that I don't like that. Jessica was wearing way too much eyeliner. Not liner, lip liner. She was wearing too much lip liner.
All right,
Yeah.
that's for like a different podcast, but okay.
What? No, I'm just saying. I also mentioned that in Barbed Wire. Pamela Anderson, too much lip liner. Same problem.
Welcome to Lip Line, guys.
Lipcast.
Lipcast.
Linecast.
You've so much further downhill. So we're gonna
Go to the cards.
we're gonna give a college try to fixing this movie.
How to fix it?
And Matt, since you haven't been here before, that means we kind of go in a circle and each yeah, that's how you should feel. Each fill in a little bit of how this movie, how we would change this movie in sort of a linear fashion.
I'll start.
And Dave will start because he may be the most sober among us.
All right, go, Dave. Being so great.
Wait, did you just call him Dave?
Yeah, go ahead, Davis.
You do it. You do it.
I'm most certainly the soberest person here. And that being said, I feel like I should have professorly glasses on because I'm about to rock your world. Academically,
Rocket.
we take this movie
Do it.
and we put it somewhere other than Canada.
Space.
Yes.
Yes.
Like Montreal.
The final frontier.
And they are now a barbershop quartet.
Right, they are.
Yeah.
This is suddenly a movie I wouldn't watch, but go ahead.
Yeah, I'm not into it, but keep going.
That's it.
That's just
They're
they're a
in
barbershop
space.
quartet, and you want us to they're space barbershop quartet.
Yeah.
That's what
A
you're giving
space
us.
You're giving us
barbershop
like
quartet from
5. You're giving us
Canada.
20 seconds of material, and then you're moving
Okay.
on.
In space, no one can hear you harmonize.
That's fair.
Ian,
Okay. I'm doing second.
Dylan, give me a what's my opposite? Give me a.
I'm going.
situation.
I'm going second. I'm gonna fix your fucking problems, David.
Yeah, lucky you.
So we they're a barbershop quartet in space.
You probably should have gone after Matt.
yeah, that's fine. Why
No,
don't
we're
you
good.
go
No, we're good,
and
we're
then
good,
I'll
we're good.
expound upon what you've created,
I'll give you a good
and I'll
bedrock.
make it decent.
I'll give you a good bedrock to lay your foundation on. That doesn't make sense.
Were you
So-
winking or just closing your eye?
Both.
That's perfect. You're,
I have thought like I had the goods on this, and then I also was like, that's involuntary.
Okay, so yeah, they're a space barbershop quartet, and they aren't popular. Not because they're not very good. They could be the best space barbershop quartet in the universe, but they're a barbershop quartet, so they're really not that popular as a group.
Well, I mean, they have that cult following.
They have a cult following. There's like 7 people that like them.
are
Most of them
cultists. Who are actual cultists.
Most of them are their parents. But there's this thing where there is there is a space barbershop solo act, which no, are you sure you want that?
Yeah, I'm good. Keep going. I'm not answering it.
Okay, so they're the space barbershop solo act, which doesn't make sense, but it's a thing. I'll let it's director's choice, and we get him who is Queenie, and he's way popular. He's like way more popular than a barbershop group should ever be.
Especially a solo act.
Especially that doesn't make any sense. I mean, even if he can split his voice, it's still just 2 parts. It's way shy of a quartet. And but he's a vampire. And so he seduces Jennifer, and it's pretty much the same movie, but they're just a barbershop quartet. Wait, what? Wait, no. I mean, yeah, it's like it's the same things happen. Dave, you just made a movie that less people will watch.
But you can get all
Wait, but no one watched this movie.
you can
That's
get
the
all the
point.
big names of the barbershop world.
No.
There are none. That's the point.
No, Dave, the joke of this movie is that it's still Alice Cooper and Moby and who else was in
Iggy
it?
Pop.
And Iggy Pop. It's just okay. But they're a barbershop quartet and they're not very popular. And then they get one of them becomes a vampire and they get a little more popular, but they're really not popular.
Oh.
They're still not popular. And even after, and this is still in like the first act, all 4 members become vampires. They are still unpopular because they are a barbershop quartet. And that's all they have going for them. And they just don't know what else they could possibly do to become more popular as a musical group.
Other than
Matt, go. Have you been listening?
No.
That's
I know that there's a
barbershop
group.
quartet.
They're an
Barbershop quartet.
Wait,
they're
they're-
doing great, baby.
No, they're not doing
they're-
great. They're doing horribly, and they're all vampires, but they're still not popular. Help them out.
And then they start, this guy shows up. He starts wagging his tongue around. He's going left and right. He's going up and down. And there's, there are women. There are women, and they're scared for their lives, as they should be. Why wouldn't they be?
Is that it?
They're dying out there in the fields.
What fields are those?
Oh, they're grassy,
What?
but only for so long until they are dry as dirt, and then what happens then?
What is this movie about? Plantations?
Yeah.
Is it my turn yet?
There's grassy fields.
Can you pass it off?
They're all played by a woman named Sally Fields. Yeah. That's the way it ends. That's the way the world ends.
No.
That's the way the world is.
No, Ian. You have to finish the movie.
Okay.
That's a good foundation with which to build a movie off of, Ian.
So as this unpopular vampire barbershop quartet is walking through the Sally Fields,
No, they're all Sally. They're all played by
They're all named
they're all,
Sally
They're all played by
Fields.
the actress Sally Fields.
as they're walking through a field, all
field.
played by Sally Fields.
Is this one of the many music videos?
It's so strange. Demetrius, the werewolf king, appears before them. Can't do any worse.
Is this
Give me a
becoming-
chance.
Is this Underworld?
No, not at all. And he turns them all into werewolves.
But they're vampires.
Shut up. He turns them all into werewolves.
But they're vampires.
He turns them all into werewolves, including Hugo.
Vampires.
And then they all become werewolves. And then they're an unpopular werewolf vampire quartet. No, they're an unpopular werewolf. What the f? They're an unpopular werewolf
Quartet.
barbershop quartet. And Hugo, at the last thing that happens in the movie, he looks at the camera covered in fur and goes, "This is no better." And the movie's over.
Oh, you son of a bitch. Where are you going?
No, vodka.
Nope.
No. The deal was you got a beer when you leave.
You get a beer when you leave. You get a beer when you leave, Matt.
Alright.
Come on back. Come on back. No. And I'll tell you a secret after we're done with the podcast.
And the secret was that the vodka wasn't in the other room. It was under the table the whole time.
Oh yeah, we're still doing a podcast.
Oh, yeah,
That's
yeah.
right.
All right, going to the cards.
Okay, we're going to cards, but I haven't picked a movie yet.
Wait, we're doing cards?
We do cards. Okay, so Matt, you haven't been here,
I have not.
which is apparently hilarious. And so we all pick a movie. We take an actor from this movie, not counting Malcolm McDowell because we followed him to this movie.
Oh, do I get to pick a character?
You do. And you take someone from this movie and you find another shitty movie they've been in, and you declare it as your pick for the next podcast.
Okay.
Even if
Alright.
you're not going to be here. It doesn't matter. We don't even begin.
Alright, well, I can't find my phone, so
It's right
yeah.
here.
Hey, look at that now.
I feel like that choice would make people angry.
So, if I have the highest card, we're going to do 2012's. We were following the border guard, played by Alex Lifeson, to 2012's Ecstasy.
Ecstasy. What's that?
It's a movie.
What's the
Drugs.
score?
It's pretty low.
Just tell me the score.
I don't have it up. I picked this out. a
Was
long
it
time.
single digits?
It was bad.
Oh, okay. If I win, we will be following Henry Rollins to The New Guy.
Oh, I forgot about that movie.
Yeah, I didn't even know he was in it.
I feel bad saying that I might remember liking that movie when I was a kid.
I do too, but it has like a 7% on
Oh
Rotten
God,
Tomatoes,
yeah, it's
so-
probably horrible. I will be choosing. So, have you ever heard of the director Uwe Boll?
Are you serious?
He is notoriously a horrible director, and he's done a lot of video game adaptation movies that have all been like notoriously really bad. But then he did an adaptation in 2007 of the video game Postal, called Postal, and
Oh,
and it is a piece of movie, but
As an adaptation.
But no, it's a piece of movie. But as an adaptation, it's actually a pretty good adaptation because the game is like about a piece of human being, and it really follows that through. But it does not make a good movie.
And you're following Dave Foley there.
For a second,
Idiot.
I confused Postal with the video game Paperboy.
Oh my god, I want to play. I was talking about that like earlier today.
I own that.
And I think-
I have
The Nintendo game where you just
dude, Chuck.
chuck and pay.
We've still
Chuck-
got the NES version.
Yeah.
Oh my god, that sounds amazing.
If I
Where are you going?
I'm just grabbing food.
That's actually a good thing.
all right,
You're next. What do you mean keep going?
I'm going. I'm still going.
But yeah, I'm gonna choose Uwe Boll's Postal as my movie pick.
all right.
Okay, so come back around here and choose your movie, Matt. Did you even choose a movie?
I have not chosen a movie,
You should.
but I need to choose one based off of the actors from
Yeah, based
our
on the actors.
last
How about
movie.
Henry Rollins? and,
If you
He
want,
Never Died?
we could go to
Is it
Bad Boys
bad?
2.
Well, I
Ooh,
love
Bad
He
Boys
Never
2.
Died, but I know you guys tried. I really enjoyed that movie, but I know that you guys are going for movies
They're bad.
that you don't necessarily like or think are good.
Well, it's more about
I
what
think that movie's actually pretty decent.
it's more about like what sites like IMDb and Rotten Tomatoes say are good. It's not about us.
Yeah, I mean,
Right.
like, for instance, Bad Boys 2 has like a single-digit Rotten Tomatoes score, but its audience score is like a 78%.
Really? Okay, well then, yeah, I would. Have you guys seen He Never Died?
Well, I mean, does it have a bad score?
Yeah.
I'm not sure. I've never looked
Wait,
it up.
who's in it?
Henry Rollins.
Okay, I'm on that right now. What year did it
That's
come
gonna
out?
look great.
Oh,
on
it's
a
it's like 2
pavement.
years ago. It's probably like 2015.
He Never Died is an 87%.
87%.
Wow, that's
You know
pretty
what?
good.
I think that's the best we're gonna get out of him tonight.
That's fair.
Okay, if you want, we could go Bad Boys 2 because someone from this movie was in that.
You want to do that? You want to do Bad
Yeah.
Boys too? Oh, we'll do Bad Boys too.
All right.
Okay.
Who thinks they have the lowest?
That's also going to be a great movie, by the way.
I know it's gonna be fun, but it's awful at the same time.
I've got a 2.
Have you seen your card, Matt?
No, I have not
You
seen
should,
my
over.
card.
You should look at your card.
All right, I got it.
Okay,
What
you
do-
put it down on the table.
What do you think?
What do you mean?
What do you think about your card?
What do you
How
think
do you
about your
feel?
card? How do you feel?
Not great.
Not great? Okay, that's good.
Put it down.
Did I put it down now?
I also feel not great.
I had a 3 of spades, baby.
What do you have, Ian?
No, I'm not telling.
I feel pretty good about my card.
Oh, that's not good because I don't feel that great about mine.
Okay, so Ian, how do you feel about your card?
I feel like it's a 7.
I feel like my card
Don't you f***ing tell me it's a 10.
I feel like my card
Is an 8, 9.
is a king.
Of mother.
So we are gonna watch Uwe Boll's Postal 2007 movie that is I have seen it before and it is empirically not a good movie, but it is stupid as shit and we're gonna have a good time.
All right.
Not fair. What's it called?
Postal,
Postal.
yes,
Postal. Yeah.
like what the postal service people do when
Yeah.
they send people.
I know what postal means.
Okay,
You're gonna watch a movie called Postal.
it has an 8% on Rotten Tomatoes.
I thought I thought we were trying to watch something that's bad.
Yeah, an 8%. That's horrible.
This is just me eating without looking.
You're doing a pretty good job.
Thank you.
Actually, yeah, it's surprisingly, like, decent.
Okay, so we're done with the podcast, and Matt, I almost called you Max. Matt, would you close us out?
All right. Good times at the dark house.
Stop right.
Oh God!
Matt, I haven't even started yet.
Give me some direction.
Oh, no, you're doing fine. Matt, you want to cool down there a little bit, buddy? Huh, I think he knocked himself out. That's serendipitous. Anyway, stay tuned after these messages for Talkin' Timeline, the new scripted segment. Shut up, Matt. Remember to like and subscribe, tell us how we're doing on Facebook and Twitter at DTLPodcast, that sort of thing. Whether you're listening on YouTube, iTunes, Google Play, Stitcher, our website DTLPodcast.com, or Patreon, where you can listen to the podcast a day early for $1 a week, and listen to our monthly Patreon exclusive podcast. The first of which is coming out on November 18th, and is on Highlander 2, the theatrical cut. Good luck, boys. Now I've got to go put on my Sunday best for my new show. See you in a minute.
It's Talking Timeline with Grimlock the Destroyer and this week's special guest, Rex. Brought to you by Pliskin's Pancakes. Just when you thought you were finished, holy shit, there's suddenly more on your plate. And now, it's our favourite host, Brynloff the Destroyer!
Thank you, everyone. It's great to be back on the air. There were some issues on the production side of the absentee presenter show, so this is what you might call a spiritual sequel to the original premise. But enough of that. Let's bring out our guest.
Wow, this is a lot more welcoming than your last setup. Whew.
It's true, but watch your words.
Hey, I was told you're trying to turn a less hostile leaf on this, okay?
Oh, it might be a new leaf, but it's the same Brynloft.
Okay, man, just as long as you don't try to kill us, okay? Or you might fall into a whole narrative spiral that just gets blown way out of proportion and then gets the whole segment canceled. Again.
Oh, now who's being hostile? So, Brett, it's the third season of The Darkest Timeline, and you and the boys are back into the original premise. So how's it going so far, would you say?
I don't know. I guess good. How many podcasts have I done of the third, like, 2? 1? Any? I don't know, man. My whole life's a blur.
Well, speaking of words that describe the state of your life, the movie of the podcast this week was Suck, a pseudo-musical about a rock band that has a vampire. What's that all about?
Well, first off, it wasn't my idea, okay?
Sure, but what I think that people want to know is if it, took after its name.
Yeah, I mean, this movie did suck, I guess, but, I mean, there were still some pretty decent parts in it.
So you actually managed to like part of a movie?
Yeah, like, I kind of like that it was a sort of a random rock sort of movie about, like, music, but also had, like, a cool Halloween sort of ish feel. Because musical's not really my thing, or rock opera, or whatever the hell you want to call it. But it still kind of was, it was neat. It was a different idea, and I think they melded a lot of things together that was nice.
Oh, like breeding random animals together.
No, totally. And I also liked kind of like how there's a lot of musical elements. Like it had like the album covers in it. So it had like the Bruce Springsteen one, and it had like the Who one and the Abbey Roads one. I liked that. I thought it was kind of neat. Like he's really hammering the idea of the music stuff, but it's also in a way that's a little bit like, if you're a music buff, you're going to get it, you know?
Yeah, the quantity and quality of that was pretty impressive for such a low-budget film.
Exactly, because I don't think that this movie looked like it was a cheap, low-budget movie, which apparently it was. I thought it looked like it was a decent, well-put-together film, really, really well thought out. You could tell a lot of care was put into it. And, like, lighting of the movie was really good. I thought, like, it had a really good visual to it. You know, I mean, I liked a lot of the costume design and all that. I don't know. I mean, overall, it didn't look like a low-budget film.
Sure, but in a film of this genre, it'd have to sound good as well as look it.
Exactly. The music is good. You know, like, the soundtrack was awesome. They used really good, like, David Bowie song. They used awesome Stooges songs. And I guess they even wrote some songs for the movie, which I don't know which ones they were. But overall, I thought the music in the movie was really great. You know, there's a couple that I wasn't super pleased about, but I thought overall, it was living up to the whole musical thing. And you could tell, like, the director was a musical type of person. Like, he played all his own instruments, and, you know, he must be in a band, his own band. I don't know if they're called the Winners, but it was, looked legit.
Well, with all those name musicians in there, it'd be pretty embarrassing to have a crap soundtrack.
And more on that is I feel like it's really a music person's movie. Like, there's little things that they put in there, that, like I was saying before, that only, like, music lovers or rock and roll lovers would like. Like when that, in the end, when that guy Queenie gets stabbed through the heart with a guitar, which was super lame, by the way. His scream is the Iggy Pop scream from the song TV-Eyed. And then they have the song play, like, as his death. And that was awesome.
Oh, I'd love to go out that way a few times before the end. Out of the movie called Suck, you gotta figure the other shoe's gonna drop at some point.
I mean, obviously we're watching bad movies, even though there's some good parts and there was some great music and all that. Obviously it's gonna live up to the name of being a bad movie, which it did suck. This movie sucked, in my opinion. It wasn't the suckiest suck, but it sucked, okay?
Well, I think we're gonna need you to expound on that a little bit.
Obviously, like, just for instance, is this a musical? Is this a movie? Is this a horror movie? What the hell is this shit? It's so, I don't know, like, all over the place.
Now that sounds like a systemic problem.
Even the acting was terrible, you know? Like, you could tell McDowell was just, like, phoning it in. It's kind of like they found an old man with, like, dementia, and they were just like, hey, say this. And that's how it seemed. Like, he's confused all the time and just kind of like, oh, I've got these lines, meh. or like he's hungover or even drunk during it. He was just so bad, which is insane because he's also such an amazing actor.
Yeah, I mean, we're talking the Vlad Tepes from Vamps.
Exactly, like he was in, Clockwork Orange, probably one of the greatest movies ever to be made.
And then he goes and makes a movie like Suck.
I mean, I think they should just change the title to Random, because that's how I feel like every scene in this movie is. It's just, what the is this? This is random. Like the border crossing scene, why? Why did that happen? Like, I get it's a total Canadian joke on America with the guns with Malcolm McDonald. Hilarious. Get it. Haha. If it was maybe like 3 minutes long, then fine. It was 15 minutes long. That's crazy.
Well, it was only 3 minutes long, but I do see your point.
And speaking of bad actors, what about Henry Rollins? That guy, I've made my decision, terrible. He is terrible. Guys, stop. Okay, don't be like, oh, he can do music, he can write, he can do poetry, and he can act. No, he can't. He really cannot. Okay? I'm sick of people standing up for him because he's Henry Rollins. He is a terrible actor. His acting is that like acting where it's not good for film, but it's like great for an acting class where everybody's like, oh hell, oh Henry. It's terrible. It's so generic and like reading the line with like a little bit of effort. Really bad. I can't take it anymore.
And you shouldn't have to, but life isn't fair like that, which leads us cleanly right into the end of our show. Now, Brett, you have 16 seconds to guess what the next movie will be.
Wait, what?
Starting now.
Move
it along.
I don't know.
Running on
something
time.
With Malcolm McDowell in it. He was on a
Not
lot of
even
shit
valid.
stuff.
Come on. Show your
I don't know.
worth.
I don't know.
Do it.
Come on.
Do
Henry
it.
Rollins.
You can figure it out, Brett.
Something.
Okay, you got 5 seconds
God, he was
left.
in like some Adam Sandler.
You can do it. You can do it. I mean, you can't do it, but you can do it. Postal, Brett. The movie was Postal.
Come on, I don't know what that is. Who cares?
It's a bad movie by the notoriously bad director Uwe Boll, who very recently actually announced that he would no longer be directing movies. Hallelujah.
Great.
It's great to see your enthusiasm still intact after all these months, Brett. And it's been lovely having you on, but that's our show, ladies and gentlemen.
Wait. Forgot my points.
Oh, it's a talk show now, not a game show, Brett. Notice how you're sitting on a couch, not standing behind a podium.
Oh, good.
That's our show, ladies and gentlemen. We've had a wonderful evening, but now it's time to see you next time. Good night.
And you take Sam down with you?
Sam's a big boy. Yeah, I don't need people to make my decisions for me.
Yeah, you do. You're a drummer.